Good morning and welcome back. Today is Wednesday and it's the last Wednesday in April, so May is right around the corner. Hard to believe already this year in 2025. So welcome back. I'm Carolyn, your retired happy friend from Mississippi. So if this is your first time tuning in, thank you. I'm glad you found my channel, and I would really like for you to like and subscribe and hit the little bell on the side so you'll get notifications when a new video is coming up. Today is going to be our Q&A session. We just finished making the baby quilts. So the yellow one is the one I did the 3-part series, step by step how to make it, and the pillowcases on top. So today I was sitting out on my back patio, and I always start by reading something, reading in the Bible or reading a study book that we're currently studying on. And there were several cardinals hopping around in the backyard. So my thankful for today is thank you, Lord, for the birds that you send to us that sing us such beautiful songs every day. And I thank you for the cardinal that was hopping in my backyard today, and a bluebird also flew down on the bluebird house I have on my fence, and he or she went inside to check it out to see about building a nest there. So hopefully I'll have another bluebird family. I've already had one bluebird family this spring, and after their little babies hatched and gone, I don't see them anymore, but usually I'll have about 3 sets of families in my bluebird house. So today, the good word for today, I want to thank Sharon for sending me this book, Our Daily Bread. I used to have these a long time ago, and our church doesn't have them anymore. So thank you, Sharon, for sending me another Our Daily Bread. And today, it's truly trusting God. Now, this is really speaking to me right now about considering my move possibly, and way back at the beginning when I first started my YouTube channel, I shared with y'all the concerns I had and the challenges I've had come up this year with living where I am, and my daughter and granddaughter are wanting me to move to Tuscaloosa to be closer to them. So I would be selling my house, moving into the same apartment house where they are, and I would be close to them, which would be a really good thing. I would have a lot more activity and a lot more family interaction and closeness. So right now we're on just wait and see since January. This is the end of April, and the apartment that I want is not available. I wanted a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, so I would have enough room to have a room for all of my crafting and the things that I enjoy making that give me joy and happiness in retirement. And so we'll see. So the word today is, I will instruct you in the way you should go with my loving eye on you. So it's about trusting and waiting. And I had another Bible verse that in Joshua that God says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to bless you, not to harm you. So I'm in a waiting mode, waiting on God to see what he works out. And I know from past experience, if I will just let go and let God, that he will work it out. So one of the verses in this reading today was in Psalm 32:10. He who trusts in the Lord, mercy shall surround him. Be glad in the Lord and rejoice, and shout for joy, all you upright in heart. So what my channel is about is finding joy and happiness, and what gives us a sense of belonging and purpose and satisfaction on our retirement journey. So that's some of the things I'm going to share along with you today, in addition to answering questions I've had that I've had come in from some of y'all. And thank you, every single one of you who have liked, subscribed, sent in comments. I read every one of them, and it means so much to me. One of the questions was, why did I start my YouTube channel? So I went through a real period of depression, loneliness, lack of purpose, didn't have any reason really to get up in the morning. So there wasn't anything going to happen that day unless I had a doctor's appointment or go to the grocery store. Or, I had another little dog before Maisie who died, and this was my little dog Pepper. And Pepper had so many health issues. He was blind and deaf, had congestive heart failure, and finally his congestive heart failure got so bad he was struggling to breathe, so I had to have him put to sleep and get him some relief. He just couldn't even lay down and rest or eat from trying to just sit up to breathe. So that was in March of last year. So I went from March for a little while and was so lonesome and so depressed. So I said, I've got to do something. I didn't think I would get another dog because I was so afraid I would trip and fall over a dog running around in the house. But I finally decided I've got to do something. So I went to the Rankin Rescue. I called around to all the rescues, and they didn't have any small dogs, but Rankin had one that was a small dog. So I looked at the picture online and went out and visited, and it was Maisie. She's 4.5 years old then, so she's 5 now. And so I looked at her and they said, she will lick you to death. And that's true. She loves to lick my hands and arms and just show me that how much she loves me. So I brought her home, and she has been such a blessing. She is active. She responds to me. She's so glad to see me every time when I get home, and she's just jumping and wagging, and just can't wait to see me when I come in. So everywhere I go in the house, she's right here at my feet right now, and she goes to that room because she has a bed in the kitchen, well, close to the kitchen, a bed in my bedroom at my sewing machine. And so what kind of dog is she? They told me at the rescue that she was a Chihuahua pug. And when I took her to the vet, they said they thought she was more Jack Russell. So I've been looking online and looking up dogs, and I think her facial features and her behavior is more like a boxer. So she has such a sweet face and such expressive eyes, and her little ears are down, but she doesn't bark unless somebody comes to the house. She's very active, very sweet, very, very smart. And I did take her to the obedience training, and she did really well. She knows how to sit, come, all that. So anyway, that's the answer on that one, on what kind of dog Maisie is. So another question I got is, who is Maggie? So Maggie was my Cocker Spaniel dog that I had. I got her, let's see, Maggie was, I got her in 2001 when I was going through another real depressing time in my life. And so Maggie is the little Cocker Spaniel dog, and she is on the back of the Cooking with Maggie cookbook. And this is a hand-tinted black and white picture that I did of Maggie. And so the Cooking with Maggie cookbook, I wrote a few years ago when my grandchildren were coming over, visiting a lot. And on the introduction, I explained how I wrote it and the purpose of writing it. And in the first of it, I say the purpose of this book is to make food preparation a simple, fun, and learning experience for the adult cook, which is the AC in parenthesis, and for the young cook, YC. So all through the cookbook, the recipes with the AC in parenthesis involves cutting, chopping, opening cans, using the stove and the mixers, which the adult cook should do. Recipes with the YC are designed for young cooks, and it's for busy moms with busy children who need quick, nutritious meals that they can prepare for their families. So I was kind of impressed or disturbed or bothered by how much or how many times my children would go through the drive-through to get their children something to eat on the way home from daycare or from school when they were hungry. And it just bothered me how much they were depending on the fast food and restaurants in the drive-through. So on the next page, I have 4 weeks of suggested menus, and each menu, let's see, there are 7 menus for each week. So that's one for every day of the week. So each menu includes recipes that are in the cookbook, has a little asterisk by it, and then it suggests things to put with it. That makes meal planning easy for the grandmas or the busy moms. And a lot of the recipes that I have prepared on my YouTube channel are in this cookbook. I have the egg salad, the easy beefy mac, the tuna macaroni salad, the tuna salad, and so there we go, the broccoli, did I say broccoli slaw? And so it was fun to write, and thank you for so many of you who have ordered this cookbook, and you have told me that you have tried so many of the recipes in it. There's jambalaya, quick jambalaya, the easy cobbler, the strawberry cobbler that I made that's in here, and that was passed down from my grandmother to my mother to me to my children. So it is recipes that you can pass down, and it encourages the adult to let the children go in the kitchen and use some of their math, like 3/4 cup or 1/4 cup, how to set the table with the knife and the fork, the napkin, and how to count out the goldfish crackers to go with the tuna salad. So it encourages involvement of the adult and the child. So that was the purpose and the idea behind the Cooking with Maggie cookbook. And it is lovingly dedicated to my little dog, Maggie. She was a sweetheart. When my grandchildren, they would call, they would always say, "Gram, what's Maggie doing?" So I wrote Maggie's Neighborhood children's book and answered some of those questions. I said Maggie is, it starts out, Maggie tells who she is. She says, "Hi, I'm Margaret May Montgomery. What's your name?" "I'm a little bouncing Cocker Spaniel puppy." And then it goes all the way through. "My mother's name is, my father's name is, what's your mother and father's name?" And it tells who Maggie is, and it kind of explains her family, her neighborhood. It says where she was born, and it says, "Where do you live?" So it's an interactive book. And it says, "Carrie takes good care of me. I like to play. Who takes care of you, and what do you do?" So this was the little book that I wrote. She tells where she lives, that she lives in sidewalks and they go walking. It says, "Where do you live?" In a house or an apartment. And then when I go walking, I see the water in the reservoir. What do you see when you go for a walk? And my friends are, and who are your friends? So it's designed for young children to help them learn about their family, their neighborhood, where they live. And it says, after Carrie takes me for a walk, then I get fed and get a bowl of water. And then she goes to bed. I didn't do the illustrations on this book. I had found the illustrator online. She lived in Texas, and we actually never met face to face, but she did the illustrations in the book, and it was Mary Manning, and she lived in Texas. And then after that one, I wrote a second book about Christmas in Maggie's Neighborhood. So the Christmas in Maggie's Neighborhood tells all about the traditions on what Maggie and Carrie do. And it says, "Yippee skippy, it's 7 days till Christmas. And we're going to the Christmas tree farm to get a tree. Where do you get your tree?" And then it was 6 days until Christmas. And it says, what do you put on your Christmas tree? So this one also is interactive, where Maggie tells what she and Carrie do at Christmas and then asks the reader what they do. So it was 5 days till Christmas, and they were getting out the nativity. So the other thing about my Christmas book is I did it all about Christmas and the meaning of Christmas, and didn't include Santa Claus. And that was one thing I wanted to do, that it is entirely possible to have Christmas, and a meaningful Christmas of exchanging gifts. Carrie's telling Maggie about Mary and Joseph and the wise men, and not have Santa Claus in it. But we do it because we love each other and we're exchanging the gifts. And then Carrie tells, they put the star on top of the tree, and the star reminds us of the bright star when Jesus was born. And then it was 4 days till Christmas, and they're wrapping presents. It's a fun book. I love this little book. And then it was 3 days till Christmas, and these represent my grandchildren. Carrie and Kyle, Kate and Kyle were making cookies and cake, and they were going to take them and deliver cakes to their neighbors. And then it says 2 days till Christmas, we're cooking our Christmas dinner. It says, what does your family do for Christmas? And this gives the parent a chance to tell the child, we're going to Nana's for Christmas, or Nana's coming to our house for Christmas, and we're going to have ham and turkey, and we're going to have a good time and exchange gifts. And then it's Skippy, Yippee Skippy, it's Christmas Eve, and they're getting ready to go to the Christmas Eve service at church. And then Yippee Skippy, it was Christmas Day. And Kate gave Maggie a new bone for her Christmas present. And then all the presents lit a candle and sang happy birthday to Jesus. And then at the end it says, thank you, God, for Jesus, for sending us your son. It was the best gift of all. So that is the whole story and the meaning of Christmas. So that was the second book I wrote. And the reason I wrote them was, I wrote them while I was still working, but I wanted to have something to do after I retired. So I took my books, and I had a lot of book signings around local bookstores. I went to a lot of the handwork shows with the books, and my smocked Easter eggs or Christmas balls. I forgot what else I took. And then the craft markets, the street craft markets, and it was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It gave me a purpose and something to get out and do. And then the last book that I wrote after I moved here was Pass the Pickles, Please. And I did do the illustrations in this one. This is about 2 little cats. And it's the 5 basic manners for preschools. Got Cassie, and then the daddy cat is there, and it gives examples of how to use the 5 basic manners all through. Please, thank you, no thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. That's the 5 basic manners. Please, thank you, no thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. So that was Pass the Pickles, Please. And it's a really cute little book. I really enjoyed doing that one. And another thing that I do, which brings joy and happiness to my life, I went to a watercolor class when I was in college, way back years ago after I graduated high school. And then a few years ago, a lady in our church was giving art classes, and I went to it, but she was teaching in oils, and I don't like oils. So I went online and watched a lot of YouTubers who teach watercolor online, and I started practicing watercolor. Diane Antone was one that I got started with, but really loved getting back into watercolor. So this is some of the little watercolor note cards that I did, and I sell these at the craft store, and I also have them on my Etsy shop online. These are some of the fall ones. I really enjoyed the fall note cards. And then, of course, you know about the quilted heart, and I did the watercolor cover for it. And all my note cards are blank inside. And then that's the quilted heart that I did on the machine to put in that. So they're blank on the inside. Most of them have a little design on the back cover, but they sell pretty well. And my books are all on Etsy online, and a few of my crochet items. So it depends on, I did have some embroidery, little vintage embroidery pictures that sold on Etsy. But that's a lot of the things that I do that bring me joy and happiness and give me purpose and give me something to do and look forward to. I have to have a project. I'm not really, I love being at home. I love what I call piddling in my house, but I have to have something that I look forward to and that I enjoy doing, that gives me a sense of satisfaction. And I don't keep it, I give it away. So there you go. So that was the questions on that. So another question that I had was, how do I take care of the meat when I go to after my grocery shopping Sunday? So when I got home, I cook all the breakfast sausage and all the bacon, and I go ahead and cook that right then, and then I put it in the freezer already cooked. And when I'm ready for eggs and sausage, or bacon tomato sandwich in the summer, or whatever to go with my pancakes or grits and eggs and biscuits, I have it already cooked, and I just take it out and heat it up. I put the pork chops in individual Ziploc bags, write the date on it with a permanent marker, and then put that in the freezer, and that's ready for individual meals. The hamburger meat I freeze in the package that it comes in. And another question was, how do I keep my fruit or my vegetables to last a month? I don't really have any problem, and that may come from just since I retired in 2010, and it's hard to believe that has been 15 years ago. But since that time, since I retired from my nursing career, I did work part-time at Chico's. I worked there for about 3 years part-time, 4 hours a day, 3 days a week. And then after COVID was over, I worked at another little boutique that's about 2 miles from my house. And I really, really enjoyed the interaction with the customers and being able to get up and feel like I was being productive and had something to do. So anyway, back to how I get the fruit. So I've learned just from a process, when I get my shopping for a month, if I get strawberries, bananas, grapes, blueberries, those are perishable. So those are what I eat first. I go ahead and start eating. I love the fresh cherries. I don't buy any fruit juice, except I do get the pomegranate juice at Costco, which is very strong antioxidants. So I get that. But and then after my very perishable bananas, strawberries, blueberries, grapes, then I have my apples, my oranges, grapefruit. And I always at lunch eat some kind of fresh fruit. And I don't even eat a whole apple. Usually I eat half an apple and put Crazy Charlie peanut butter that has no sugar, no preservatives, no salt added, and put the peanut butter on the apple. So that's how I do the fruit. So the extra fruit stays in my produce drawer at the bottom of the refrigerator. With the vegetables, I put them, go ahead and wash them, get them cleaned up, do my food prep when I get home from the grocery store. And the celery, I cut the end of it off, wash it really good, get all the sand or debris out of it. and then put it back in that long plastic bag that Kroger has for the big, like the lettuce. And then I make sure it stays damp, and then I close it up. The lettuce, I do the same way. I cut the end off of it, rinse it all, separate the leaves, and then I wrap it in a cloth towel, like a tea towel or a dish towel, and put that in the refrigerator. And that will stay crisp and good. It doesn't, what I call melt, but you know what I mean. It turns to that green slimy liquid. The lettuce kind of melts after a while. But it doesn't do that if you rinse it and put it in a cloth cotton tea towel. It stays fresh. The cauliflower will stay fresh. I put it in wrap it in a towel, get it moist, damp, and make sure it stays damp. My broccoli will stay fresh that way. So I don't have any problem, but I have learned how to keep it. So, and my milk, I went over the milk. I get the organic milk that I got it last Friday, and it had an expiration date of June 15th. So it will last. And then I got the Kroger milk that is only good for a week, and I'll use that first because I had a really good coupon for the Kroger milk, the first milk, and I'll use that and then have the other, so I don't have to go back to the store. Because y'all, if I go in the store to pick up milk, I'm coming out of the store with more than just milk, and that's not good for my budget, because I will always see some kind of special or some produce or something that I just really need. Okay, so that answers that question. So meal planning. Okay, on meal planning, I learned way back when I was studying nutrition and growing up, and also from my mother, that you need to have fruit, vegetables, starch. I don't go along with all these diet remedies of no carbs, no whatever. And I like a balanced diet. I like some of all of it. You need your protein, you need your carbs, you need your vitamins and minerals. And on the vegetables, the more colorful you can get it, bright reds, bright greens, broccoli, tomatoes. I've learned which vegetables are more carbohydrate. The butter beans, the corn, potatoes are more carbohydrate. And then you have your not carbohydrate vegetables, your green beans, your carrots, your broccoli, your cauliflower. And you need a balance of those. So you need, rice is still good. Rice has so many vitamins, minerals in it. And if you put your rice with red beans or black-eyed peas or pinto beans or whatever, you have a complex carbohydrate which has even more nutrition. So if you add then sauerkraut or pickles of some kind, the fermented, really good and nutritious and help with digestion. Cornbread, biscuits. I go low on biscuits and rolls and bread, and I don't eat very much of that kind of bread, but I do eat the cornbread, because the cornbread is just ground up corn. And I have a problem with diverticulitis on eating whole kernel corn. I can't eat that, and I can't eat a lot of whole nuts. I have to be sure and chew my nuts really well. But the cornbread gets me corn without I can't eat popcorn. So anyway, so that's kind of, and then dessert, of course, is just an extra bonus if you can put some nutrition in on a dessert. Like I made my grandmother's good yellow cake, and I put half of it, I left plain, and I'm going to put fresh peaches with. I could put fresh strawberries with it or blueberries, but I'm putting canned peaches with it. And then the other half of it, the other layer, I cut in half, and I put applesauce on it and made an applesauce cake. So, and soups. I love soup. Soups are really good. Even summertime, you can make soups. Cabbage soup, and the more vegetables you put in there, the more nutritious it is. You can put cabbage, onions, tomatoes, carrots, potatoes. What else did I put in it? Anything usually that I find in my refrigerator that I think will go well with it, I'll go ahead and put in there. And in the wintertime, we have my mother's homemade vegetable soup, which is really a wintertime soup dish, which has, I can get up to 8 or 9 vegetables in that soup, because I've been doing it for so long, and I concentrate on putting as many vegetables as I can. So let's see, meal planning, who is Maisie? Why did I start? I started my YouTube channel. Why I started it? I started my YouTube channel this past December, and I was praying to God. I said, God, I'm so lonesome. I live by myself and I don't have anybody around, and I need something to do, but I don't want to just be doing something just to be doing it. So, and I firmly believe this. He gave me the inspiration because I have been watching YouTube channel, and I follow different people since, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And I truly believe this was inspiration that said, Carolyn, you have a lot of hobbies and a lot of activities that you can share with somebody, and share some things that have helped you along this retirement journey. Because to be perfectly honest, it was hard for me to get used to being retired. I had raised 5 kids. I had gone to nursing school while taking care of the kids, had a very busy, very demanding career as a nurse in the hospital, where we worked 12-hour shifts and on my feet, busy interacting with patients and family and doctors, nurses all day long. So after I retired, and I was forced into retirement because of my Meniere's, and I couldn't go back in the hospital and do the looking up and down and walking down. I can't do that. I can't even go to the grocery store and look back and forth. It makes me really dizzy and woozy. So that's why I started working at Chico's part-time, to give me an outlet and a way to get out of my house and my 4 walls and be interactive and active with other people. So that's when I started my YouTube channel, to try to share with other people, and it has been a blessing. And I appreciate every single one of you who have commented, who have liked, who have subscribed to my channel. You have sent so many positive, encouraging comments, and that was the whole idea, was to share what gives us joy and happiness, because retirement truly is a journey. I have gone through many stages of retirement, and even I get tired of sewing after a while. I want something new to do, so then I will do my crochet. I get tired of that, so I'll do my watercolor. But Maisie gets me out of the house and gets me out in the fresh air, and we see the outside world, and we have met a lot of people. She never meets a stranger. Every time she sees somebody, she wants to go up and say hi. So, and I'm getting to know the YouTube people, those of you who comment and like several times and keep coming back, thank you. And I'm getting to know names, I'm getting to know people. I have had 2 sponsors now. I've had Lubona as one of my sponsors, and the Flex-A-Spot washable rugs was a sponsor. I have had more exposure on my Etsy shop. And I thank you to Sharon for sending me the Our Daily Bread book. And she has sent me some little dolls to work on. I had shared the little dolls from Dollar Tree that we do the crochet outfits on. And I donate those to different people. I used to donate them to Catholic charities or put them in our blessing box at church and put a little brochure in the back for the children that Jesus loves you. So thank you, Sharon, for that. And thank you. I could name over some names, but I would be afraid I'm going to leave out somebody. But I do thank every one of you for commenting back on. And we will see what happens. I have a possible move in the future, and we will see how God works that out for me if I move from here to an apartment. I still have a mortgage, so I'll be paying to live somewhere for the rest of my life, whether it's the mortgage or whether I move here and go to an apartment. And one of the trigger factors in making me think of possibly moving my house is that I am back here by myself. I don't see anybody unless I walk outside my house, and we have a very, very quiet neighborhood, and usually there's nobody out walking. So I have to go to Walmart or Costco to see people, or church. I get to go to church and see people. But I would be close to my family, and we'll see how that works out. So if you have any other questions, please post them in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know about your journey. So many of you have shared so many things going on in your life with me, and I really feel truly honored and blessed that you have expressed some of your concerns and some of your events in your life. And just retirement is a journey. It's an ongoing journey. Nothing stays the same very long. So this too will change if we give it time. So today, Daisy has to take me out for a walk today. So thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you. And please like, subscribe, and comment, and that helps me to keep going, and it helps us to build our community. And I hope that some of you who read the comments are getting familiar with some of the people who keep coming back and commenting too, so we can establish a retirement journey community. Thank you so much. Thanks for spending some of your time with me today. And don't forget to share your smile with somebody along the way today. We're out taking our afternoon walk. Maisie's taking the lead, and we're in a new place, so she is anxious to get out and explore. So we are at one of the local parks. They have the sprinklers on, watering the soccer fields, getting ready for an active summer for all the kids. So it's really a pretty park. So we're going to walk around. There's a lot of construction going on right across the ditch, and it faces another street, and I think this is where they're building a new Aldi's. So this is some pretty trees that are hanging over the walkway. And there's Maisie and me and our shadow. So some children just got to the park over there. Maisie sees them and wants to go run play. This is a southern magnolia tree. Now the magnolia is the state flower of Mississippi, and all our magnolia trees around in our area are just starting to bloom. And they have a beautiful bloom, and oh my, do they smell good. There's the bud just getting ready to bloom. This tree is going to be gorgeous when all these buds open. But this bloom is kind of brown. It has gotten bruised. It's been bloomed for a little while. But there's one up there that is still open and pretty, but I can't get to the top of it. But I'll bring you back and we'll look at this tree when more of the blooms, because you can see it, every little tip of the branch has a big bud on it.